Why can't we admit it? Rock music as a mainstream genre is dead, at least when it comes to brand new bands. I want to talk about that today, plus an interesting version of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train that hints at what may have been. All that and more come up on Friday Night Vinyl. Hi, my name is Frank. It is Friday. That means it's time to kick back, relax, and talk music. Let's kick things off with Record of the Week. All right, this week's Record of the Week is actually a 45 for Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. But before I show you the record, I've long heard stories that Ozzy's debut album, Blizzard of Ozz, was actually going to be credited to the band being Blizzard of Ozz. I was going to say Blizzard of Ozz in big words, and then in smaller lettering, Ozzy Osbourne. In fact, in an interview recently, bassist Bob Daisley said when the album was released, the words Ozzy Osbourne were in bigger print than the Blizzard of Ozz. And he said that made it look like an Ozzy Osbourne album called Blizzard of Ozz. But he said that was not the case at all. It was supposed to be credited again to Blizzard of Ozz, being the band. So I found this a little while ago. This is a pre-release of Crazy Train. It's an edited version. Oops, sorry about that. It's an edited version. It's a little bit shorter. They cut the intro a bit and the middle part a bit. Anyway, this seems to support what Bob Daisley and others have said all along, where it's supposed to be the band Blizzard of Ozz, with that being in big writing and Ozzy Osbourne's name being in smaller print. I kind of dismissed in a way what Bob Daisley had said over the years, thinking it's just sour grapes or whatever. But this seems to show that this was supposed to be the Blizzard of Ozz, and Ozzy Osbourne's name was supposed to be secondary. On the back of this is Crazy Train and You Looking at Me, Looking at You. I love the B-side. I wish it had been included on the actual album. It's good to see that song has been re-released in various forms over the years. But this is also interesting. And here in small print, it says, taken from the forthcoming album, Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Ozz, Volume 1. So what does that mean? Now this here suggests that it was going to be Ozzy Osbourne and the album was going to be called Blizzard of Ozz Volume 1. Or does it suggest it's going to be Ozzy Osbourne and the Blizzard of Ozz and the album was going to be called Volume 1? So confusing and such an interesting history. Anyway, here is the label. It's on Jet Records, and again, Crazy Train backed by You Looking at Me, Looking at You. That is this week's Record of the Week. The mysterious pre-release single of Crazy Train. Before we talk about Rock is Dead, I want to show you something. Got a new design up in the Channel 33 RPM merch store. It's this new shirt, Keep On Spinning, Channel 33 RPM. Of course, got the 45 adapter. We got the lightning bolts there as well. This is a new design. Up until this year, most of the stuff in this store is stuff I've designed or my wife has designed, but I've teamed up with various graphic designers. I found a really good guy, Adam, a local guy, who is doing design work for me now. He cleaned up the Channel 33 RPM logo. He's designed this new Keep On Spinning. So stay tuned for all sorts of new stuff. The shirt is going to be available, or it is available right now, in different variations and different colors. And I love that. It's officially branded Channel 33 RPM gear, as you can see on the label right there. So it's these little cool things. I have fun doing it. So thank you to everyone who's bought shirts. Just wanted to let you know there is a new design now available. Okay, I want to talk now about the fact that, I'm going to say it, rock music, at least when it comes to modern bands and the mainstream, is dead. And we don't like to admit this. I'm going to get some thumbs down and some negative comments. But this, according to the facts, which I'll show you in a second, is the God's honest truth. It doesn't mean that there isn't a ton of great new rock music being made. It doesn't mean there are a ton. It doesn't mean that there aren't a ton of great new rock bands. There is more great rock music being made now than ever before. but you have to admit the mainstream just doesn't care. Check this out. This week, Billboard has released their top 200 albums of the past year, and there's an article about this in Classic Rock magazine. So Classic Rock points out that in Billboard's year-end album chart, there are no new rock records. In that top 200, there are no new rock bands for all of 2021. Not only are there no new rock bands in the top 200, there are no new rock releases on that list. I mean, there are some rock bands, but it's all dinosaur stuff, which we all know and love. But it's all dinosaur stuff. Like Queen's 1981 Greatest Hits compilation is in the top 200. What else is on there? Fleetwood Mac Rumors. We all know Rumors. We all love it. But come on. Journey's Greatest Hits, AC/DC Back in Black, Nirvana's Nevermind, and Metallica's Black Album. All those albums are decades old. Again, there's no new rock on here. Last year, there was one new rock album on the top 200, and that was Ozzy Osbourne's Ordinary Man, which landed at number 199. So there's this long drought of new rock albums on the Billboard Top 200. So what is the Billboard 200, you ask? Well, these are the best-selling albums in the United States of America, counting both physical sales, but it also accounts for digital downloads and streams. There's a formula. I'm not going to pretend to understand how that formula works, but again, the bottom line, new rock music from new bands, or even old bands putting out new stuff, it's dead. The mainstream doesn't care. Now, let's check out what is on the Billboard's top 200 for the year that is winding up. I'm just pulling this up here. So the number one album is by someone called Morgan Wallen. I have no idea who that is. Number two, Olivia Rodrigo with an album called Sour. Number three, Pop Smoke. Skate. Number four, Taylor Swift. I've heard of that. Number five, Drake. I've heard of him. Number six, The Kid, Laroi. Number seven, Luke Combs. That's country. Ariana Grande, okay, I know her. Nine, Dua Lipa. And number 10, Little Babe. So, I mean, the point of this is, I don't know any of these bands. I'm not overly familiar with them. But again, nothing wrong with that either. I am a middle-aged dad, suburban dad, so I'm not going to be up on all of this stuff. And it's not unusual. I mean, I think back to the day when my dad have known or cared about the Black Album or Slave to the Grind or Pantera. Probably not. So whatever. I don't think the top albums, the top-selling albums, are designed for people like me anyway. So I'm not surprised by that. But it is interesting that there are no rock albums, new rock albums on that list. So now if you compare this list to the top artists of previous years and previous decades, you can really see how far rock has fallen off the charts. Like if you look back at 1987, the number one albums that year included Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, Beastie Boys, License to Ill, U2, The Joshua Tree, and I mean just rock keeps going into the 90s, right? 1991, number one albums included Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, Metallica's Black Album, Guns N' Roses, Usury Illusion 2. In 92, we had number one albums like Nevermind and Def Leppard's Adrenalize, had the Black Crowes on there. 94, you had Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pantera, Pink Floyd, Beastie Boys, Stone Temple Pilots, R.E.M., Nirvana, Pearl Jam. I mean, it goes on and on. So it really shows you how the dynamics have shifted over all these years, right? Where in the 90s, in the 80s, when I was coming of age, I'm sure many of you, where rock was on top of the charts. And again, now it's nowhere to be seen. So, I mean, there's no disputing that. Just looking at that, you have to admit rock is dead as a medium with new releases. New rock releases are dead. I mean, you go to any sporting event anywhere around the world and they're going to be playing the classic rock stuff, right? And concerts are packed. There's festivals. Metallica sells out in arenas and stadiums. Motley Crue, all Def Leppard, Iron Maiden, all these guys are hugely popular. But again, it's nostalgia or a longing for the old stuff, and the kids today are kind of into it, but they're into the stuff those bands produced in their heyday. No one cares about their new albums, or at least in terms of the mainstream sense, right? The mainstream doesn't care about those albums, and new bands, new rock bands, forget about it. I can't see any newcomers who are going to be selling out arenas anytime soon, right? Like one of the biggest bands, which I still consider a new band, that can do that is the Foo Fighters, but those guys are like almost 30 years old now, so that is kind of crazy. But back to my point I made at the beginning of this video, there still is so much good rock music being produced. You only have to search just a little bit and you are going to discover it. I know many of us get so stuck in our ways where we continue listening to the music that we grew up with and we listened to and loved in high school, right? It makes us feel good. It's nostalgic. We know it. But take a moment to check out some new stuff. And I do recommendations for new bands on this channel all the time. But again, we probably have access now more so than ever before to new rock music. And people like me and you, we're not the mainstream or the lame stream, as some people call it, right? This is kind of going underground now. Rock is going back underground, and we are the people supporting it. So it's great to see. So what if I've discovered a new band and their album's not selling 1 million copies and they're playing clubs? I would rather see a band any day of the week. I'd rather see a club show than see a stadium show or see an arena show. It's just so much more fun and intimate and in your face and authentic and real seeing those bands in a club or in a theater setting. I absolutely love it. So yes, rock is dead, at least when it comes to new releases and the mainstream. I don't care though. Who really does care? Do you? Let me know in the comments below.